Now, recently, the Auditor General of the Republic of Kenya, Nancy Gathungu, has again hit hard on President William Ruto. And this time, she has come with a report that has currently backed the claims made by the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, in regards to the sale of the Bomas of Kenya building. Remember, the Bomas of Kenya building is one of the key infrastructures that we have in the country, and where the tallying of the general elections in Kenya are done. Now, recently we received the intelligence that this building had been auctioned, or it had been sold to a Turkish national by President William Ruto. And this report was made by former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, though some members from the Kenya Kwanza administration led by Dennis Itumbi refuted the claims. Now, Nancy Gathungu, the Auditor General of the Republic of Kenya, has confirmed what Kenyans feared most. Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has raised concerns over the performance of Bomas of Kenya, which she says is in the red. In a report for the year heading June 2024, the Auditor General raised concerns that the statement of financial position of the facility reflects current assets and liabilities of 238,877,245 Kenyan shillings and 289,008,465 Kenyan shillings, respectively. Now, resulting in a negative working capital of 50 million Kenyan shillings, 141,220. The organization may be technically insolvent and therefore unable to meet its financial obligation as and when they fall due to the basis of the negative working capital position. The report by Nancy Gathungu read. Now, the report tabled before the National Assembly, Gathungu left said, although the asset, property, and plant stands at 2.4 billion, she granted that the last valuation for the asset was conducted in 1996. Now, listen. In 1996, the Bomas of Kenya was valued at 2.4 billion Kenyan shillings. If we are supposed as a country to sell the Bomas of Kenya today at the current market capital value, what should this building be worth? If in the year 1996, when it was first valuated, when its value was first conducted, it was valued at 2.4 billion. Should this building, as of the current year 2025, if you look at the market value of a building such as that of and the land that houses the Bomas of Kenya, I think we should value it at over 300 billion Kenyan shillings. So, if what is true or what was alleged by Rigathi Gachagua that President William Ruto sold the Bomas of Kenya to the Turkish national, then this building might have gone for over 300 billion Kenyan shillings. Because, since 1996, that was during the Moi regime. And that was during when the GDP of our country, Kenya, was at a -2 due to the Goldenberg scandals. Now, currently, we are in the year 2025. About 21 years later or 19 years later since the valuation of this property was conducted. Are we together? So tell me how much this property should go. So the reason why Nancy Gathungu is hating at it is because she knows the worth that this building is supposed to have currently. Now, the long delay, she said, fails to take cognizance of the drastic change in the value of the assets and is contrary to international accounting standards. She further raised concerns that physical verification carried out in December 2024 revealed that several assets were not tagged and serial numbers of some printers, desktops, laptops, and other electrical and electronic equipment were not indicated in the assets register for ease of identification and tracking. No, the revelation by Gathungu comes only days after the government dismissed claims by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that Bomas of Kenya had been sold to a Turkish national, saying that the facility is undergoing modernization to become a global conference and a cultural hub for the Republic of Kenya. Gachagua alleged that the government institution had been sold to a Turkish national despite his objections during a cabinet meeting when he served as deputy president of William Ruto. But the Gender, Culture, Arts and Heritage Ministry Principal Secretary Omi Bashir said Bomas has not been sold. Its ownership remains unchanged, noting the facility remains public property. In our report, Gathungu also raised concerns over a number of issues, including delays in completion of rehabilitation of the auditorium and employees being in acting position in excess of 6 months, failure to implement integrated personnel payroll, data, IPPD, and irregular composition of council committee members. I can clearly say that Nancy Gathungu is sending her signals that you know what Gachagua told you is true. The Bomas of Kenya does not belong to you anymore. That is the signal that she is sending to us, but she cannot say it out clearly because recently she has faced a lot of criticism for speaking out against the incompetency of government under President William Ruto. She revealed to us that the e-citizen website or the e-citizen program does not belong to the people of the Republic of Kenya as it is supposed to be under the constitution of the day. She also revealed to us that apart from the e-citizen, SHA and SHIF does not also belong to us. Now, what does that tell us? It tells us that there is a high possibility that the Bomas of Kenya does not belong to us. Now, the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu flagged Bomas of Kenya as technically insolvent, citing a negative working capital of 50 million as of June 2024, with liabilities exceeding current asset by a substantial margin. Now, problems have also been pointed out of asset mismanagement with physical verification in December 2024 revealing missing asset tags and unrecorded serial numbers for key equipment, undermining accountability and asset tracking. The Auditor General's report concedes with controversy over claims by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that Bomas of Kenya has been sold to a Turkish national. Now, Gachagua, who has remained vocal against the administration following his impeachment last October, insisted that the sale includes other government properties such as prison land, and suggested that aviation authorities had also opposed the move due to its location within a flight path. Bomas of Kenya, established in 1971, was created to preserve and promote Kenyans' diverse cultural heritage and has long served as a major cultural and tourism hub in the country. Now, what are Kenyans saying? Dara Benjamin says, Bomas of Kenyans 2.4 billion in fixed asset but can't pay the bills. Sounds like a broke guy flexing with ancestral land. Now, Silver Style says Bomas of Kenya is broke. Auditor General declares it technically insolvent with assets mismanagement and all that. Musangalile, Eric Odari says Rigathi is the only savior we have as of right now. That's how bad this whole administration is. Hate him or not, he is the only one. Now, Selective Nomad says Gachagua, the truth man, was right. Someone really wants some kickbacks from the Turkish tycoons. Auditor General report proves the mess he warned about under Ruto. By the time Ruto and his administration are done with Kenya, hakutakuwa na kitu imebaki. Another one here says Bomas of Kenya, it is right they are in the name who sells off their home, Ruto can. Washiendi says, typical UDA cabal tactic of purposely mismanaged to create the need for private investors. Remember when JKIA had leakage rules to justify Adani deals? Here we go again. Now, we can all say that. Yeah, we can all say that. It is true that the government tries to do some things to undermine some certain situations in the country and to undermine some certain institutions so that they can bring in private investors who will invest in these properties. And once these private investors invest, the government under President William Ruto, some few individuals pocket billions and billions of shillings. What Nancy Gathungu was confirmed, it is true that Gachagua had the real intel in regards to the sale of Bomas of Kenya. Subscribe.